Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Week 10 and the final week of the regular season for FLI. This week we are going up against Martyn and the Dutchland Dracos. You can see Martyn's team right here going straight into it as we normally do. Tapu Bulu, Hoopa Unbound, Volcarona, Mega Sharpedo, Fortress, Gastrodon, Hawlucha, Jolteon, Beedrill, and Ariados. I'm not going to spend too much time going over this, but this was the final week of playoffs, or final week of the regular season. So I'm going to go over my prep very quickly. I didn't spend too much time prepping because I have been locked for a little while now, and I really have no reason to show all my cards when playoffs is really where anything can happen. But you should know your team by now. If you don't, I'm not going to it. I'm just going to show you the team we brought here and why I count everything. So take one last look at this team. The biggest threats for his team really was this Jolteon, believe it or not. This Jolteon plus, you know, the Hawluchas and the Tapu Bulus and the Hoopa Unbounds, but a lot of physical attackers, as you can see. Hawlucha, Sharpedo, Bulu, Hoopa, all of them physical attackers. Volcarona obviously can be a problem if it gets dancing, but we found a way around that. Over Showdown. Boy, don't look at my ELTBL teams. All right, week 10. This is the team we brought. We brought a fast Heatran that can outspeed Tapu Bulu, Magma Storm, Toxic, Stealth Rock, Ancient Power. This was our defensive check. Also completely walled that Volcarona. Volcarona cannot have Hidden Power Ground because it is no cut moves. So this completely walls it, and Magma Storm and Ancient Power obviously, will do the trick. Toxic, if things get dicey with Hephaestus' health, I can just throw up a Toxic and then take 2 Bug Buzzes and die if I'm low enough. But yeah, that's kind of Hephaestus' role this game, was to check a non-scarfed variant of Tapu Bulu. This thing can obviously take just a fair amount of grassy glides, because we are playing in the fairy tale land that is what we thought would be post DLC 2. But yeah, that was kind of its main role. It also could take on Jolteon and the Fortress as well. So it was that, but it was mainly there for the Volcarona and the as a defensive check for Volcarona and an offensive check for Tapu Bulu. Next, we have fully physically defensive Togekiss, Dazzle Gleam, Flamethrower, Roost, Air Slash. This thing kind of can sit on his team and pretty much do whatever it wants. Bulu can only have Stone Edge, and at this point, I didn't see Stone Edge coming too much from Martyn. His prep has been very, very similar, but obviously it could. Even then, Kiss was taking, I think it was like 70%, which meant I could just roost. I always just roosted the first time on the Bulu anyway. It also took on Hoopa Unbound, Mega Sharpedo if it would stay on it. It couldn't switch in because of Ice Fang, or it could switch in on Protect, but not on Ice Fang. I was taking on 50 completely walled Hawlucha if it wasn't at like +2 Poison Jab. But yeah, it really hurt Sharpedo, Bulu, and Hoopa Unbound. Like, there wasn't a lot he could do against it. Of course, if I was able to sit in and click Roost, I have a Air Slash, Flamethrower, and Dazzle Gleam. So it was a tough matchup it was a very good matchup for Togekiss, which was really cool for me. I'm gonna turn this down a little bit and check what's my DM here. Oh, never mind. All right. Moving on. Valentine, very, very, again, physically defensive. This takes care of mainly the Sharpedo and Hawlucha if it gets down to it, and it can also take on Hoopa Unbound a little bit and fish for items. But really, its main role is there just for this Sharpedo. It's just to aid Togekiss, especially if I do take that 60% from like a Stone Edge and it's a banded Stone Edge. I can go straight to Valentine, Wish, switch back out into Sprinkles, and be fine. Next is this very, very exciting version, Fake Out, Play Rough, U-Turn, Gunk Shot. Of course, if it was not locked into Grassy Glide, Gunk Shot would completely wreck Bulu. U-Turn was killing Hoopa. fake out into play rough, took care of Mega Sharpedo and Hawlucha. So it was doing a lot this game, and I was very excited to use this thing. Gligar, very basic, especially defensive. Stone Edge, Toxic, U-Turn, Roost. This works as a wall against the Volcarona in case something goes very wrong with Hephaestus. Gligar can come in and take care of it. It's also useful for the Jolteon, obviously, because it can't have HP Ice. So, next we just threw on Jasmine, max speed, max attack, Drain Punch, Ice Punch, Bullet Punch, Rock Slide. Very basic. I didn't put a lot of thought into this set here. It's your click button, get one kill maybe, and move on. So I'm going to pull up the replay. So as you can see, I'm going to get rid of this ping because it's bothering me. As you can see here brings the Tapu Bulu, the Hawlucha, the Hoopa, the Mega Sharpedo, the Volcarona, and the Fortress, right? And like I don't know what the percentage was. I did some math, I did some mathematics, but in a lot of his games he just straight up led Fortress no matter what. He always was leading Fortress. So I go ahead and I lead my Togekiss. Togekiss matches well against, look at this, everything. I click Flamethrower on the Sharpedo, which is fine. Or I click Air Slash. I clicked Air Slash because, I don't know why I clicked Air Slash. Oh no, I clicked Air Slash because of Sturdy. I don't want to reveal Flamethrower right away. I'm not sure why. I clicked Air Slash, so I get a good percentage on Sharpedo, and I think actually, what is this? Bullet Punch kills at this point, right? So we switch it out here. I go for a Dazzling Gleam. I break the Sturdy, which is fine, which means Sprinkles can now just take it out with Flamethrower, which is what happens. So Sprinkles now already picks up one kill, and you can see how this is a very tough thing for him to deal with, right? Like the Sharpedo is now very low, which means I trade with it and win the trade. So we're in a very good spot here right off the get-go. Sharpedo comes in, he protects. I Dazzling Gleam. Again, if I take this 60% here, it's not that big of a deal for me. He Ice Fangs, it's 47%. So I think he's Jolly, actually, is what that means, but it's fine. Tapu Bulu comes in here. I'm fine risking the thing, the Grassy Glide here. I'm not sure why I did that, but I don't think, well, I'm not sure why I did this, actually. This is kind of a bad play in retrospect, but I stayed in here, I Roost up, it worked, but this is a bad play. I don't know why I did that, actually. So Grassy Glide cuts me. I Air Slash him back. So as you can see, this is a 3-hit KO because of that stupid stuff. And of course, I have to Roost up again to avoid getting knocked out. Which is nice because I get a little bit of grassy terrain health when I Roost. So I missed an Air Slash here because, of course. And now this Bulu is slowly but surely getting back up to full HP. This is also banded, so I'm not afraid of taking a... this is banded damage here, so I'm not afraid of taking a Stone Edge at this point. Terrain goes away, Hoopa comes out, I Roost again, and obviously Hoopa, or Togekiss can take on Hoopa. He purely has Thunder Punch though, which is something I wasn't expecting, so we trade about 60% here. I go into Gligar on the Thunder Punch, and I U-turn out. I believe I U-turn out. I should U-turn out. Yeah, I just U-turn out. So I go into Heatran here, because I expected the Stone Edge if he had it. I didn't want to scout, but I missed a Magma Storm, because of course I do, and Close Combat takes me out. So, bad plan on my part, of course, but I didn't want to risk the banded Stone Edge taking me out right now, and I didn't want to. It wasn't a thing. So Jasmine comes out, I Ice Punch, and I get the kill. Bulu comes in. I have nothing that can switch into 2 Grassy Glides, so I let Jasmine die here. Togekiss is free again, as long as he doesn't crit, but we are fine, and we heal off our damage. So Sprinkle's putting in the finest of work here. Very hard for my opponent to break, and now as you can see, Air Slash kind of runs through his team. So Volcarona comes out, I Air Slash it. It does around whatever percent. I didn't want him to crit me or whatever if he wanted to go for an attack. So I go into Gligar, I Toxic just to be safe in case I miss 100 Stone Edges. This guarantees a kill in like 6 or 7 turns. Fiery Dance is 37%. We have special attack raise with Stone Edge hits. It does 66, so he will be gone next turn. And Gligar is of course of no use to me anymore because it can't beat either Bulu or Hawlucha. Because Hawlucha could potentially sub, and I'm not very excited about that. So Bulu comes back out. Bulu has to come out here, or else he won't get the speed boost, and then he will lose to the Persian, which is very much not ideal. So I just Toxic this thing. It doesn't really matter what happens to Gligar at this point. All that he did is make sure that Stone Edge wasn't an option, right? If he had it, I don't think he had it. Grassy Glide comes out, I roost off the damage, and I just let time take its course here, as I believe he switches. I think he switches. Or he lets Bulu die. Either one. It really doesn't matter at this point. But Bulu's going to go down here to Toxic. And Hawlucha is going to come out, get the defense boost, but of course I'm going to, I believe, Dazzling Gleam. And Dazzling Gleam should be a 2-hit KO. Acrobatics comes out, is nothing, and Dazzling Gleam just OHKOs straight out. So good game to our opponent, Martyn. It was a very, very tough matchup for him, honestly, with Togekiss. I mean, Togekiss just, as you saw, just sat in on a lot of things. Had he brought potentially maybe Life Orb or not, that set of Bulu, it could have been a problem. And then maybe if he paired it with like Flip Turn, Sharpedo, and because I believe Sharpedo has Flip Turn at this point, and when we thought DLC 2 was coming out, and then Volt Switch Jolteon, that could have been a massive problem for me. But of course, you just saw the game played out, and he didn't think he actually had a shot at playoffs. I believe he said something out here, do I even have a shot at playoffs? And then I took his Fortress, and he said nope. But he actually made playoffs because we had a drop. So he is in playoffs, he is the 8th seed right now. And playoffs is starting today. Today is the first day that playoffs are allowed to be scheduled, which is very, very exciting. I will try and cover all of the games for playoffs on this channel. And I believe we finished the season 8-2. We can actually go over, we can go over standings right now. So quarterfinals, we have Martyn, which is who we just played against Yuk. We have Uprog and Keenan. We have me and my brother, which is very exciting. And then Flaps and Fist. So those are the top 8 teams. I ended up getting 3rd seed. I'm not sure why. I think my differential is a lot worse than Keenan's. Oh no, Fist, right? I haven't put his last game in here, but Fist has been very dominant all season long. And I finished 8-2, which is a good record. 8-2 is a good record. Not 10-0, but 8-2 is definitely not a bad record. But with that, goodbye, God bless, and have a great day. And I will see you in playoffs.